the, you have a new engagement in the family?
Oh, this is the one that for both of them, it's 3 times the charm, I hope. So, yes.
Well, that's good.
She is wonderful.
Hang on one second. So to shut off my.
And he surprised her. That was a
Thursday, December 11th, 2025.
6:34.
6:34 PM. First item of business is the statement regarding recording. Please.
Good evening. This meeting will be recorded and will be posted to YouTube and other social media platforms. By participating in this meeting, you understand that the recording could contain your video stream or your audio stream, including images of yourself or anyone in the room with you. If you choose to enable your video or audio device during the meeting, as well as anything or anyone else that may be in the background could be recorded. The recording could include any opinions you contribute and anything you say about yourself. On occasion, chat within the meeting could also be captured in the meeting recording. Therefore, anyone attending the recorded meeting may have aspects of their personal data recorded if they actively participate or not.
Thank you. First item, a roll call.
Dr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh? Mr. Deschamps?
Yes.
Mr. Willannon?
Here.
The computer's too far away. Ms. Kelly?
Here.
Ms. Garvey?
Here.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Here.
Ms. Muck will not be with us this evening.
Okay.
Mr. Moncourt?
Here.
Mr. Wiggler?
Here.
Mrs. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Nutter?
Here.
Ms. LaRange will not be with us this evening.
Okay, two. Okay.
Chairman Brophy?
Here. Thank you.
Ms. Metcalf?
Here.
And Ms. Reeves?
Here.
Thank you.
Good. So no school committee members online.
Correct.
Okay. And before I just start, regarding the Hardwick position, still no additional person.
I've reached out and I will again. I think my sense is they want to wait for the next election, but that's kind of a long time. So I'll reach out.
Yeah. Did they reach out? Well, they posted it in the summer.
I don't know. I wrote to them soon after
I remember
and requested
that.
a joint meeting. I haven't heard anything in that regard, but see the town administrator soon and I'll.
I'm attending a meeting on the 22nd of December, so I'll bring it up then. So
Okay.
We were,
Yeah.
Committee of 15 would love to have like all 15 members. First item is consent agenda. You had in your packet as well as in the drive, approval of minutes for November 20th, 25, warrant approval, and we have two donations. Cord of wood to NJROTC Spaghetti Supper Silent Auction, donated by Jeremiah Woodward of Woodward Logging. A value of $250, and donations of gift cards for the middle high school to support families.
So move.
Second. Is there a second? Okay, second. Any discussion on the vote on the consent agenda for any items taken as collectively or any taken out? Seeing and hearing none. Roll call or hold? No roll
Need
call.
to do a roll
No, roll
call.
call, because of nobody on Zoom.
Right.
So all in favor? Opposed? And abstentions? Unanimous. Thank you. Student advisory, we have the Hubbardston Center School Art Program. We'll turn over the superintendent and to the principal. We'll go from-
and to the kids.
And of course,
So Principal Cook is here from Hubbardston Center School, and with her, she has our new art teacher, Miss Garrett, and quite a few students. So we're excited to hear what they have to say about our art program. Oh. All ages, I see.
Yes. All right, so good evening. I'm Erin Cook. I'm the principal at Hubbardston Center School. And I'm really excited about tonight because we have a brand new art teacher, Elizabeth Garrett, a Barry resident, who has come to us with amazing ideas, but even better, such a nice person, so prepared, so willing to do anything and everything. And I just want to kind of paint a picture of her days for you because for anyone new, being new is a lot. But this woman starts her day every day as all our specialists do, at the middle school teaching 6th grade. And then depending on the day of the week, she either comes to Hubbardston for the full day or Ocam Center School for the full day. And I feel like any of our specialists must be driving to a school one day and they have to think, am I going to the right school today? Because I don't know how they keep it straight. So not only has she learned the schedule, but she's getting to know almost 300 of our students. She's getting used to the staff, knowing how we do things, what we do, where we go, how to get around the building. And she's put together some really great work for these students. She's building them as learners, as artists, and it's really great to have her on board. And so she's going to kind of present a quick PowerPoint to you, and then these students who I will introduce are going to present a little bit. So this is Nora from 2nd grade, Miriam from 1st grade, Olivia's a 5th grader, Grayson's a 5th grader. Let's see, Bria's a 5th grader, Ayla's a 5th grader, Julian is a 3rd grader, Eric's a 3rd grader, and Rhett is a 4th grader. And side note, they are multiple families here. We have the Moncor family. If you're a Moncor, raise your hand.
Full representation.
Malowans, raise your hand if you're a Mallowan. Raise your hand if you're a Duncan. Okay, families here. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Garrett.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Cook. I appreciate that introduction. Thank you all so much for having us. We are thrilled to be here. This is my dream job. I am loving working with all of these students at both Hubbardston and Oakham, and also the Quabbin Middle School 6th graders. It's been wonderful. So just really quick, I have a PowerPoint. I'm just going to fly through it because I really want the attention to be on these guys. Oh, here it is. Okay. Great. So just really quickly, I have a BFA from Mass College of Art. This is my 7th year in public education, 3rd year as an art teacher. And if you wouldn't mind just taking the slide. So in standing with the Massachusetts curriculum framework, we teach the elements of art, and then these are them. I'm going to let you guys review this at your leisure. Next slide. We also do the principles of design. So that's all that's included in assignments. Next slide, thank you. Just wanted to just quickly outline transferable academic and life skills that I believe art brings to students. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I really feel like it's responsibility, sharing of the tools, leadership. What I have for each classroom is they have 6 tables. Everybody at the table has a captain. They have a chance to be captains for it rotates. They are responsible for supplies, at getting them and returning them. Also teamwork, interdependence, students learning to work together, asking questions of their peers rather than always relying on me. Sharing supplies, cleaning up together. Thank you. From the next slide. Again, continued. Again, art classes, the social emotional learning is just so important, I believe, especially in this digital age. Students find calm, they cultivate focus. And I want to say my students with IEPs and 504s, some of them are the best artists, and this is their place to shine often. So it's really wonderful when that happens. Also community building, and then students learn to trust their own unique creative voice. Skill building, conceptualizing ideas from beginning, from bringing them from an idea into tangible. And I'm not going to go through this. Next slide. Careers in art. I highlighted some of the ones that I feel like are really pertinent to today's society. Of course, art teacher, digital. That's okay. And again, you guys can look at these at your leisure. But graphic design, digital and web designer. I mean, that's what we do. We're always online. Photography, interior design, fashion magazine, costume designers. I mean, and also just to say, we all love movies, we all love plays. So that really has a lot to do with arts. Okay, next slide. Just really quickly, I want to just share each grade. I'm not going to read through everything. It's just a visual. So if you could switch to the next slide. Kindergarten, we did painted mice. They learned about primary and secondary colors. They learned how to mix paints. It's a big deal when you're 5 years old holding a paintbrush. Next slide. We have first grade. They made hot chocolate mugs. And Miriam, if you want to give a wave, where are you, dear? First grader, she's going to share more about that. Next slide. Second grade, we did spooky pets. Nora, I believe you were involved in that. Yeah, this is again, learning different, elements of art. They learn perspective, foreground, background, texture, space, blending colors. Next slide, please. And third grade, we did fancy cafe drinks. Again, they're learning, how to draw. They're learning things like value, how to create 3D form. They're learning color theory. Thank you. Next slide. Fourth grade, we did haunted houses. This was during the time of Halloween. They were learning a little bit about architecture, geometric shapes, perspective. Next slide. And then this is also fourth grade assignment. This was a challenging one. It was a more advanced one. So they really learned how to create 3D form. Next slide. And then we have our fifth graders who have spent really all fall creating these masks, which they're going to share with you. There were 4 different parts to it. If you wouldn't mind flipping this slide, they made armatures. Next slide, thank you. Here we are with plaster. We're making plaster molds onto the armatures and learning to work safely with plaster. Next thing is sketching the masks. So Olivia and the other 5th graders will show that. And then finally, we have the last 2 slides. This is a bunch of samples here. It was a cultural project. They also had to research the mask. And then finally, I think is that, okay, this is something you can watch on your own. And the 6th graders, I kind of included some of the things that we did. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the students.
Did you want to start, Miriam, or?
I think we'll start maybe with 1st grade,
Sure.
Miriam, if you want to share.
Hello, my name is Miriam. I'm in the 1st grade at the Hubbard Center School. We draw like cocoa mugs. First, I draw a mug, which is a cylinder shape. Then I draw patterns of shapes and lines on the table and wall. I choose hearts, circles, and zigzags lines, which I color with oil pastels. Last, I painted the table and wall with contrasting colors like red and yellow. What I like about this project was drawing the mug. Thank you for listening to my story. Do you have another question for me?
Very good.
Any questions for
Any
Miriam?
questions?
I have a question for you. So full disclaimer, it was amazing when I heard about this very weird remarks. Hey, by the way, the kid's gonna present something on Friday at a board meeting. I said, Friday? We don't have it yet. He said, yeah, but I said, I'm not sure that's accurate. Sure enough, keep looking. Oh, by the way, it's gonna be the kids at the board. I said, board meeting, as in like the school committee. It's like, yeah, but kidding. I was surprised. So I have a question for you. So why do you like art so much?
Because I like drawing a lot of things with the art teacher.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Did you say your favorite color was yellow? What
She
color?
said the contrasting colors she used were yellow and red.
You got it, yellow and red, the contrasting colors. I just didn't get
Like McDonald's.
contrast. Got it. Gotcha.
Julian, do you want to go next? 3rd grade?
Hello, my name is Julian. I'm in 3rd grade at the Hubson Center School. This fall, we drew 3D pumpkins. First, we did the outline of the pumpkin using curved lines. Then we drew patterns of shapes and lines inside the pumpkin and on the surface. Next, we carefully outlined everything in marker. Finally, we painted the pumpkins sections in contrasting colors to bring emphasis to our drawing. The shapes I drew were triangles, stars, circles, squares, and loops. The lines I drew were zigzag lines and moon-shaped lines. The contrasting colors I used were yellow, red, green, and blue. What I learned about this project was that I like to draw lines and mix colors. What I liked about this project was that I could do contrasting colors and like to mix the colors and do detail. You want to show the picture? What?
Yeah.
what was challenging about this project was that I had to do a lot of detail and draw little circles and stuff inside the pumpkin. Thank you for your interest. Do you have any questions for me?
Can we see?
Hold up
Let me
your-
see.
Take that Post-it note off, buddy.
Oh, wow.
Show it around.
Nice.
Very nice.
Job. Job.
That must
Good.
have taken a long time.
You get a mask too?
All right, Eric, you want to go, buddy?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Eric Duncan. I'm in third grade at the Hubbardston Center School. This fall, we created robots from 8 different geometric shapes. First, we practiced drawing the 8 shapes: square, rectangle, triangle, circle, semicircle, heart, oval, and diamond. Then we cut these shapes using contrasting colors of construction paper. Next, we carefully placed and glued the shapes on the background piece of construction paper. We also included a frame around our composition. Finally, we reviewed our checklist list of the shapes we were to include to make sure we didn't miss any of the shapes. What I liked about this project was I made the body with shapes Lisa G taught me. What was challenging about this project was cutting the pieces out. Thank you for your interest. Do you have any questions for me?
Eric, just hold your project.
Oh,
Wow, very
Nice.
great job.
Did you find any parts that was tougher than others to do?
So I had to make the body, and then I had to cut these swervy lines to make parts that I wanted them to. That was the challenge.
Gotcha. Again, very good.
Okay, fifth graders are gonna go, and if you have a mask, can you hold it up so they can look at those while they're sharing out?
Hello, my name is Olivia. Hello, my name is Bria. Hello, my name is Ayla.
Hello, my name is Grayson.
We are the 5th grade students of Hubbardston Center School. We have been working on a mask project that has 4 parts to it. Each one of us will share about each part of the project. Then we will share about the masks we individually made. We made our masks out of plaster strips. In order to create a mold from plaster strips, we first had to make tin foil armatures, stuffed with newspaper. An armature is a framework that sculptors use to provide support and strength. First, we molded sheets of tinfoil to our faces and crumpled newspaper to inside these armatures to hold the weight of the plaster strips.
After making the tinfoil armatures, we had to cut dozens of plaster strips to layer on our tinfoil.
We needed to have 2 to 3 layers of plaster strips on top of the armatures. The plaster strips are the same material used to make casts for broken bones, which were really strong. We had to learn how to safely use the plaster strips as it is very dusty. For solid craftsmanship, we also had to learn how to carefully mold each strip of plaster onto the armatures when they dried. After several layers of base paint or Mod Podge for a smoother surface and to seal the plaster. In addition, some students wanted to create tusks, horns, teeth, or headdresses to their masks. In order to do so, they used cardstock paper, tape, and additional plaster strips. Learning to work with plaster was one of the most challenging parts of the project. Then we learned that mask making is an ancient worldwide phenomenon. We watched an educational video about various masks around the world. Each student got to choose a country or culture of interest to find the mask to sketch, research, and get designs ideas from. Out of respect for the culture, we made sure to understand the meaning of the mask, give credit for any design ideas we adapted. We colored sketches of the mask and found out the following things about the mask we researched. 1. What country did the mask come from? 2. What is the meaning of the mask and how are they used in a country or culture? 3. What was the material of the mask? What was the material was the mask made of? And 4. What design or elements were we going to use in our own masks, like color, design, and shape? After creating plaster molds for our masks, drawing sketches, and doing research, we were ready to paint our masks. First, we do pencil designs of the designs we wanted on our masks. Then we carefully painted 2 to 4 layers of acrylic paint onto the plaster. We had to be mindful when using acrylic paint as it does not come off clothing or paintbrushes once dry. Sometimes some students added sequins and feathers after they painted their masks. Okay. Ayla, do you want to show stuff about your first? This mask is an animal deer. It is inspired by the Celtic mythology. The mask is made to look like the horned god of the ancient Gauls. It is the god of nature.
That was Celtic. Okay, Celtic, good.
Okay, I can see. This mask is focused on Colombian history. I put feathers on my mask because it has a connection with nature. Making Colombians have been making these masks for a long time with feathers too. This was supposed to be a half mask, because they like have the half masks in festivals and stuff, but there's a risk to cut your mask in half because it could fall apart because of if our thing wasn't structured enough. So I decided to keep mine a full mask and added my own artistic flair with swirls from the Colombian flag colors.
Nice.
My mask is called the Royal Disguise. I based my mask off an Italian mask. This mask is used for celebrations and reunions. My mask was made out of paper mache, macrame, paint, sequins, and ribbon. One thing that I added to my mask was the sequins. I think they make things sparkle and add a little pizzazz.
Okay.
Grayson, you wanna do
Um, my mask is from China. It's based off of a demon mask that is used for festivals and probably to scare kids. What I did is because it had bottom teeth and top teeth, I only did bottom teeth and I added 2 little tiny horns on the sides.
That's amazing.
And that's from China?
Yes.
What did you use to keep the horn? To make
I rolled up paper and that right there is, I had to use tape, so that was very difficult for me to put the plaster on it.
How long did it take you?
Not very long.
the teeth? I like those too. How'd you make?
Teeth, I made, so when I go to Champions, I brought this and then I did it. Then, the art teacher came down and I gave it to her once I was done.
Nice. Good.
Amazing.
So this is someone else in 5th grade did
Yeah.
this one, right? Do we have, and Rhett, you have another 5th graders, right?
I'm sorry, I don't have the name, but I just wanted to show some extra art. I wish
They're all so different.
they really are. They all did an amazing job. Thank you all so much.
Now, quick question, and see if anybody else has any questions too. Quick question for any one of you. When the project was starting to do this masks, was it easy to be able to picture it? Because you had nothing in front of you. You had nothing.
I had no idea what I was making. I just did the mold out of the tinfoil, and then I did some research, and I decided that to do a Colombian mask because I'm part Colombian. So I decided that since that was a very fun culture, I decided to do that. So I had no idea what I was doing.
You did fine. How about you? Anybody else that wants to comment? Think about when you started, you had nothing. How hard was it to come up with it and to put it together?
I know that I've always wanted to go to Italy. I thought it was like such a interesting culture there and like how they do things. And one of my friends used to live in Italy and she's told me all about it and she said it was very interesting experience to live there. And so I searched up Italian masks and I found this one and I'm like, wow, that one looks hard to make and I kind of want to challenge myself.
Anyone else? Questions?
I got a comment.
Dr. Allen?
Oh,
And
that
then,
done? Yeah, okay.
and then we got you, yes. Yeah, 3 things.
That was great seeing this. And what's your name?
Me.
Oh, next to your sister,
Miriam.
Miriam. You get the award for the most beautiful smile of any child we've had
How
here.
about her reading?
What a great,
I know.
what a great, and seeing the kids doing this, thank you for bringing them and having them come and visit with us. Couple other comments. You talked about going from school to school and so forth. I remember back, Helen Chase used to be our music person back here in the 1940s and 50s. And she talked about taking the train from Southbury to Hardwick and so forth back long ago. And you talked about jobs. Cheryl Adams, who was our longtime head of art here. Did you know Cheryl?
I didn't.
She got hundreds and hundreds of people earning a living with artwork. So you're spot on with that.
Thank you.
Ms. Garrett, good job. I think it's amazing. I think personally, I mean, you know, for my kids, they've always been into art, right? And for some reason, your name keep coming up in our house. And I said, you must be doing something different and something unique, and voila, this is what you're doing. You know, I took an elective in college for art class. None of those terms I came up. I'm not sure what you're teaching those kids, but I think it's high level stuff. It's amazing.
Thank you very much.
It's beautiful, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you for your comments.
Your hands up. Go ahead.
Julian?
Olivia. So, in the swirls, I see like two different colors on the same swirl, like yellow and green. Like, is that one color or two different colors? Well, the paint I was using got mixed in with my friend's paint, so it kind of turned green, but it still looks good, so.
The answer is.
Good. Good.
All right. I want to thank the students for such wonderful presentations, and thank you so much, Mrs. Cook, for having us. I want to say working with Erin has been wonderful, nothing but encouraging and just welcoming of everything I've been doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You've all done well. Ah.
We didn't do this. I can't believe how much.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, well, she does, but.
All right.
Two of those were Becky Bottomley's grandchildren.
Oh,
Wow. All right, now we have Anna and Ella.
Go ahead, Christine.
Exactly. Do you have masks or? Show us, or-
Well, I didn't really bring anything exciting,
Yes, you did yourself, absolutely did.
but ROTC, we recently had our area manager inspection. Thank you guys. I know I saw a lot of you there. And that went really well, which we were pleased about. The inspecting officer seemed to really just be in awe of our program and all that we do in the community. So that went really well. And we have our spaghetti dinner next Tuesday, the 16th. You've probably seen the sign. So love to have you there. I'll be at the door. Say hi. That's really all that's been going on for me.
Well, my schedule has recently cleared up with the ending of Shrek. The performances went super well, I'd say. I had a lot of fun doing that. And same with Unified Basketball. That season just ended. That was a lot of fun. I still have dance and everything going on, so my schedule's not totally clear, but that's what's going on with my life. And
do you guys have anything upcoming for Spirit Week next week?
that's what I was just about to say. Student Council has Spirit Week coming up next week, and that should be fun.
What are they doing for?
Leaf sweater day, pajama day. Is there a color wars? I feel like there's always a
That's
color wars.
Friday, and there's flip the script day where students dress as teachers and teachers dress as students. Tropical Tuesday.
That's what Tuesday is.
Yeah.
Fun. And I think I heard the seniors, you're doing some kind of volleyball game.
Yes. And NHS, we didn't go because it was the seniors that went. They went Christmas shopping. Was that for the Christmas?
I think they're doing
Christmas?
that one day.
I thought they already went on that. But never mind.
Well, NHS is going Christmas shopping for those in need with the money that we raised from Family Feud.
Well, yeah, I was gonna save this for later, but since we've talked about ROTC,
Not my program. Designed that program.
You designed it?
Yeah, I made the whole thing, typed all the names.
good job.
Thank you.
It was so effective, so good. Brought a tear to my eye when they do the MIA. They do the slow march. They put a hat down for each of the services. It's just very effective. There was a special award for the Riondo girls. Saved the life of one of her siblings with CPR. And got a special award. Gregory Washington, okay, was the area commander. He came in, he said this was the best and the most prepared of any of the programs he looks at throughout the whole Northeastern Europe. Captain and lieutenant of the best. He talked about a student-led program. There's our students, the leaders, championship team. And every year they put in here a statement by John Paul Jones, which is so effective and so good, I'm going to read it. It's by no means enough that an officer of the Navy should be a capable mariner. He must be that, of course, but also a great deal more. He should be as well a gentleman of liberal education, refined manners, punctilious courtesy, and the nicest sense of personal honor. He should be the soul of tact, patience, justice, firmness, kindness, and charity. No meritorious act of a subordinate should escape his attention or be left to pass without its reward, even if the reward is only a word of approval. Conversely, he should not be blind to a single fault, though at the same time he should be quick and unfailing to distinguish error from malice, thoughtlessness from incompetence, and well-meant shortcomings from heedless or stupid blunder. In one word, every commander should keep constantly before him the great truth that to be well obeyed, he must be perfectly esteemed. This fellow wrote this in the 1700s. You all know the statement about the damn the torpedoes full speed ahead. That's this guy. What a statement.
Did you choose that, or are you able to choose different sayings?
Yes, but the captain likes that one and it was easiest.
He's in here every year. And
Good choice.
it's just wonderful.
Good.
Great program. Thank you.
Any other questions for the student representatives?
I mean, that was my first event that way, and I have to say that my perspective changed a bit about certain things. And I think I was telling you guys before, right? If we have a society in which you're losing hope of humanity or the future, come and check this one out, right? It was amazing. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Entire platoon and all the rest of the team, and it was very moving. So I'm wishing you guys success and for the continued process of this program, right? So it should never go away, obviously, right? So yeah, I was impressed and I love it. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Doug. The area manager said something that he thought might have been a little controversial, or he mentioned it, but I thought it rang a bell with me when he said, that the purpose of ROTC is to produce good citizens.
Yes.
And that was such a powerful, powerful thing to say.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say, ROTC's made a difference in my life. I've gained a lot of leadership experience, and I just have a better understanding of citizenship in general. And I've also seen the difference it's made in other people's lives. It's just been a really great program. Made a lot of good friends from it too.
Ellen and Rachel.
Yeah, a few years ago, we had 3 kids in the Naval Academy from this program. We had one on a full scholarship to BMI. We had 2 on scholarships to the University of Maine in Orono. Another one didn't go to college, but he'd been in the program. He went into the nuclear subs. And after 2 years, he had 2 years worth of college advanced math and science. That's the kind of stuff that can grow from this. But I think the citizenship, the courtesy, the discipline, all of that, I think is really the key element. You see when they'll say, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Can I help you? Hey, how are you doing? Just, it's a great program.
The credit to you guys, I think credit, as I've been sitting here for many years, is that the baton is passed every year. And you had leadership, seniors, et cetera, that passed the baton to you guys, your group. This year, you're going to have to pass the baton on to those who are going to take your place next year. And the thing is, I've never seen or heard of the baton dropping. It's like every year, this program just excels. And it's a credit to all of you. I know the commander's great too, but it's a credit to every student that's part of this system. And I know some leave, some might come just a freshman year, et cetera, and that may be it for them. And maybe it's just something they have other interests now. But, the feedback I've gotten over the years is whether, a parent's child has been in for 4 years or 2 years or 1 year, it's always complimentary, whatever happens. And so really, a lot of credit to you guys.
Yeah, nobody want to mess with a lieutenant.
That's your tactic.
Not this lieutenant.
But good.
You agree?
Oh, yes.
Good. So you get the Spirit Week coming up, the holiday break coming up. And after that, is there anything coming up from a culture perspective in January?
I think ROTC has our annual dining in where we get into uniform, we go to the Colonial, you sit with your squad, and it's always kind of a fun night because all the little funny things we do, there's always there's a lot of jokes made pretty much, and that's just fun.
Good. Good. Thank you for your report. Administrative report, Superintendent of Schools.
So you have our director's report in your packet, and I want to highlight just a few things that are different maybe this month and important. So one thing I want to highlight, and I have these separated to align with our goals or my goals, but one thing I want to talk about just very quickly is the idea of homeschooling. So this is something, we have over 100 students that are homeschool students, and we've been really trying to tighten up on our homeschooling process. So as a school district, we are responsible for approving the curriculum and the homeschool plans for our homeschooling families each year. So this year we struggled a little bit, and I see Miss Metcalf sitting there, so I'm just going to call her out because she has been unbelievably helpful with this process in trying to organize it. But we had some families who were outstanding who did not submit either evidence from the end of last year and a homeschool intent for this year. Now, what's tricky about homeschooling is that, we don't know. If someone had moved, we'd have no idea. We're not sure of all things happening. So we had asked Officer Sawyer if he would do some home visits with me to these families. So on Monday, we visited 5 families in Barry. And I think the visits were very helpful in a couple different ways. One thing I was able to do was offer to homeschool families some of the things that their kids could take advantage of in our schools, whether they still continue to homeschool or not. I also learned a little bit more about why parents might be choosing to homeschool. and if parents were willing to have their students actually come back to school. And on the very last visit, we actually were looking for a student and we knocked on the door and this gentleman answered and he said, "Oh, they don't live here anymore." And those are the things, honestly, that make me nervous, right? Because we have this family in town and now they go away. But because they're homeschooling, normally if they're a public school child, there's some sort of communication plan. We know if they go to another state because they request their school records, things like that. So I just wanted to mention that. And we will continue to follow up on those processes and make sure that the families have what they need to be successful with their students. The other thing I want to just call your attention to is that we've had a tier focus monitoring or an audit for our English learner programming. There's 10 areas. The report is in the drive. We have to produce an action plan in 3 of those areas, 3 out of the 10. One area has been super challenging for us, so we received some feedback on staffing patterns. We have 1 English learner teacher. We have 13 students, which in theory sounds fine, except those students are spread amongst all of our schools. So the way we are servicing those students is in consultation sometimes with our English learner teacher who is certified, but other teachers might be providing that instruction. So that's an area we need to work on and get better at. The other area was around translation. So I think that we do have the translation services. The challenge that we have is that our English learner teacher seems to be the conduit. So instead of sort of following the process to go to Diana Sinelli, who oversees our translation services, they're seeing Kelly Allen in the moment. She's our English learner teacher. She's trying to be as helpful as possible. And we might not be doing what we should in that case. So we're going to shore that up. And the last thing is around parental notification. This is really just a policy thing that we need to change. So that will be submitted by January 27th. And if you have any questions after you read the report, certainly let me know. We had 2 big things happen within the past week. So last Friday, Chairman Brophy and I went to North Brookfield. As you know, we've been in discussions with North Brookfield about a possible tuition agreement. So we attended the meeting. In attendance was the chair of the school committee, the director of student services, the superintendent of schools, and the admin assistant for student services. I think what they were looking for was just a number from us. And we did provide a number, but we also just sort of expressed questions about the process and some questions about what steps they might take next and maybe what a possible agreement might look like. So I just wanted to share with you because I do think at some point it's probably going to hit the newspapers and I don't want you to be sort of surprised by that. So the way we figured our amount was Allison worked on our per pupil spending. And so what I wanted to do was get a base for what we spent on each of our students sort of currently. But we took out transportation costs and additional special education costs. So that was our base rate, which some of you have this on a sheet of paper and it's in the drive if you don't have it. So the spending is around $17,000 without those additional costs. So what we said to North Brookfield was we would consider a tuition agreement if the $17,000 was the base price and any transportation costs on top of that, they would take care of. And any special education costs outside of what we normally provide for services would also be in addition to that. So that's where that came from. We met initially and we talked about a lower amount, but as I started thinking more and more about it, I think we agreed that, it's not really fair to our towns to enter into an agreement where, one town is paying less. And then if we're talking about a regional agreement, they sort of need to be prepared for this kind of costs as well. So we did leave it open-ended that we would be in consideration if they had more questions or they wanted to talk about different things. I don't know how you felt at the end of the meeting, but I think there's probably more questions than answers in the moment.
Just, I mean, you'll hear more too from Deb, from the central office, that the central office met to be able to come up with figures, to be able to see as we go. Again, North Brookfield needs to do something. They can't have graduating class sizes of 18 and 25 and giving good programming for kids. You can't have it. So, they're looking at Quabog, they're looking at Quabbin. We'll see. We gave us a perspective and told them, you're more than welcome. We gave them a framework, and that was it. That was really the obligation they wanted for that time, because they have to do their work. They, meaning North Brookfield School Committee, and work with what they have to go through. All I'm going to say is, we went in August. They started talking about this in May. They invited us in August. We went to a meeting in August. Here it is, December. So if you're looking for next year, and you really have to go fast, North Brookfield, and do things to get, to get it going. Or if not, I don't know. It's their world, but at least we've been doing our perspective to give reasonable numbers, what we can do, and what is good for kids. That's what I can say. Dr. Allen?
Yeah, it sounds like you did a good job and a good number. If they come here, you said tuition, would they just tuition in or would they buy? Because I remember you folks, Peggy, you tuitioned in for a few years, as I recall, and then you bought into the district. So we're not talking about them buying in.
That's the same kind of perspective.
We are leaving it on the table.
Leaving the table.
That they could possibly join. We would be, I mean, it would be up to our towns, obviously, to vote this. But we would be open to, if they wanted to pursue a regional agreement with us, we'd be open to that.
But right now, they have their own sour cream in a way, because they didn't get regionalized with Quabog. So now they're looking at other alternatives, so.
Is there any sort of deadline with us moving into the budget process of like when you need to hear back from them?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think based on their student numbers, we'd be fine, yeah, to absorb them. But, I think over time, the hope would be that we would be receiving all their students, right? And at that point, that's a place where we might have to have discussions about adding teachers, so on and so forth. So
You talking about K to 12 when you say all students or just?
no,
9 to 12?
just middle high school,
6 or 7 to 12.
6 or 7 to 12. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a lot more that they need to think about and look at to make a really well-informed decision. And
What percentage of their kids do we have now?
well, we have
About 60 schools.
we have about 60 of their students right now currently. Some of them are in elementary,
K for
but not
12,
that
yeah,
many.
which is.
Yeah.
And 44 of the 59 are 7 through 12.
Right.
If I remember correctly.
Quabog has a few.
Yeah. And then the last thing I want to tell you about is yesterday I had a meeting with Mass Hire, Central Region, Central Mass Hire, Ann Goby, the Director of Rural Affairs, several members of CMRPC, also several people from the Department of Agriculture, a representative from DESE, a parent who works at UMass at the Stockbridge School, and another community member who actually works in vocational education. So we've talked about this before, about the possibility of opening one agricultural program so that we can offer our students a true vocational opportunity where they could gain skills and could be employed right after high school. So I think I just happened to hit a jackpot, to be honest with you, when I started to reach out to people and say this is something that Quabbin is interested in doing, because the excitement in the room yesterday was amazing. And Goby and Mass Hire and CMRPC all said that this has been a need. It has showed up in report after report after report. There's a void in Central Mass where we don't have agricultural programming for our students. And several schools have tried to get this up and running, Bay Path Vocational being one of them, Spencer East Brookfield, and they just have not been able to carry it out or follow through for different reasons. So we had a really productive conversation, and CMRPC has agreed to help us start the process by facilitating surveys and focus groups with students, parents, and stakeholders. So the way we envision this is sending out surveys to all of our surrounding communities about the needs, and then holding in-person focus groups. What we would be looking for is to make a determination about what program is the right program for our area. So there are 5 programs to choose from. One of them is animal science, which Monty Tech offers. So that one immediately comes off the table. But there's agricultural manufacturing, there's horticulture, and I am not going to be able to name these off the top of my head, so I apologize. Give me 2 seconds. Animal science, agricultural manufacturing, horticulture, and there's one more.
Mechanics.
I think I said agricultural mechanics.
You said, okay, manufacturing.
Mechanic?
Oh, yeah, agricultural mechanics.
Agricultural mechanics.
There's one more, and I apologize.
Crop management.
It's not crop management, that falls under horticulture.
Vertical agriculture.
It's not vertical agriculture. I know you want that, Mr. Brophy. Anyways, so some of the things that they look for is what sets us apart is our ability to hold core classes at our middle high school, use of our school vans to transport our students. We would envision this running out of possibly New Braintree Grade School in partnership. What we need to find are local farms that would be willing to work with us as a school to share resources. So whether we're growing things on their campuses or we're using their barns for different things or having, if they're allowing our kids to have internships with their animals. I mean, it's going to take about 1.5 years for this to launch. So I have a goal of September 2027 to have one program up and running. And I have a meeting tomorrow with East Quabbin Land Trust to talk about possible use of resources and things like that. So I don't know, I'm pretty jazzed about it.
You should be.
I'm pretty jazzed about it. So any questions?
Dr. Allen.
Yeah, a couple of things. First, how in Stillman are both in New Braintree, I believe, they seem to be very big, very successful farms. Seems to me. Do you have more?
Pollard.
Pollard.
Yeah.
And there's that one up on Moore Road.
Tree Farm.
Lee Harvest or whatever.
No,
Evans
and
Harvest.
then you got, the one on Oakham Road.
Yeah, so.
Put up all the greenhouses. Cheryl was talking about them.
Yeah.
But
In the Hunter
Braintree
House.
Seems to be very rich territory for this. And second, is there any money with this? Any support?
And that's always the question. Fortunately, because of the reports that have been put out there and the DESE's strive to offer more vocational program, we believe there would be resources that would be available to us through grants and whatnot.
Good.
And Ian Goby was very enthusiastic. Good. Walter.
Would these be just available to our students in our 5 towns, or would it be open to a larger community?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that's a vision we have to create as we're going through the process. What I know about Smith, because we've done some visits there and whatnot to gather information, is they don't actually have a high number of students in their programs because they keep the numbers very small. I don't know that we would have the interest, though, to get the number of students per program just based on our students. So I see this as probably a bigger opportunity for Central Mass. And I think we garner more funding if we had it that way, to be perfectly transparent. Yeah.
Good thinking.
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions to the superintendent at this moment?
I had a question. I mean, it's more of speculation than a question because I think I was reading that you mentioned Isquabbin. Is there potential issue, and assuming Isquabbin a potential area where we can actually explore? I think I read where the Mass Wildlife is intended to actually buy a portion of East Quabbin somewhere. Would that be an impact in future access? Because Mass Wildlife tend to actually protect their areas very well.
Deb looks like she might know.
So,
I am not familiar with that acquisition firsthand.
yeah, so I speculate. I think I'm reading stuff.
Our lands are open to the public. I don't know. The governor put out a biodiversity executive order a couple years ago, and I know that Mass Wildlife looks for opportunities. However, the use of our land is under very strict deeds, and that's illegal.
So you can actually.
So I'm not sure if it would be available or not. For that, but our lands are open to the public when we purchase them, usually for fishing and hunting access. And for wildlife management purposes. So.
Someone also told me that, someone reputable told me that, the town of New Braintree actually owns a 5-acre parcel right behind the school that, you know, could be potentially
However,
leased to us or something.
I do believe that parcel, I don't know if Mass Wildlife would be acquiring the entire parcel from East Quabbin Land Trust. Sometimes it's not the entire parcel. They may hold on to some of that acreage, and that might be.
And I'm not sure they're even
So
willing.
I don't know the details.
Right, okay.
But they haven't done anything with Denny Launch, right?
Not yet. Because they purchased,
Yeah.
purchased that
Besides the school.
in the airport,
Excuse me?
in the airport, they purchased.
Okay.
That's what they're in negotiation with Mass Wildlife.
Yeah.
Anything else for the superintendent? Okay.
And then our directors all have just some bullet points in their reports. If you have any questions for any of them, they're happy to answer that. I will also call out, just because we've been talking so much about NJROTC, in case you're not aware, Captain Brennick is planning to retire at the end of the school year, and Lieutenant Friedel is planning to retire in the fall. They are actively recruiting for their replacements. But I'll keep you informed of that, because they're going to be very, very hard positions to fill and a hard act to follow.
Good.
I think, Allison, do you want to kind of go through the warrants and all the things in your section?
Yeah. We spoke a little bit last month about student activities. Since then, I have had quite a few conversations with the elementary school principals and the office managers that are overseeing them. And the general consensus is that they're being used primarily for field trips, school photography, and donations. Through figuring all that out, we decided to close out all of those student activity accounts in the elementary school. So 10 accounts, and take all those funds and move them to their own individual revolving accounts within the general fund. So that would be taking away all of the checking and savings and the checkbooks out of the schools. It stressed a lot of the office managers out. I think that they also didn't have a full understanding of how to use student activities. So I think this was a breath of fresh air across the board, myself included. So now I can oversee all of this, and I think it's going to be a really good move for everybody. So that in itself was about $100,000 that we're going to be moving into the primary depository account. In addition, I took all the petty cash out of all the schools. They all still had $200 in the schools that we would replenish every summer. And it seemed like it was only being used for postage, which just buying some stamp books or little piddly items here and there. That's a really old concept, is to still have petty cash. So we decided to take that out of there too. in place of that, I did issue everybody, all the schools, they haven't received them yet, but P cards. And with that, I did stress the use of P cards, how they are to be used in accordance to what was established here at school committee and Mass General Law. They are going to work really well with being able to use them for their student activities as well as purchases for the general fund. So I think that they were pretty pleased about that. And still even being able to use their postage, they can put in a small blanket PO in the beginning of the year, go to the post office. And when they make their little purchases, it can just hit that blanket PO and just reduce down. And it'd be the same as having their petty cash, but without having the actual cash. So a little bit better of an overseeing process. As far as the budget goes, I've also met with all of the principals and all of the admin at this point and discussed all the budgets. I have provided everybody now with a 5-year comparison report of every single line in everybody's budget. So they can see how they've used all their accounts, whether they are grossly over budgeted or under budgeted, or if they're right on track. So I think that that's going to be super helpful when going into the next budget season, because I'm going line for line to see how we can, save, how we can do better. So I think that was really helpful for everybody. And interest rates. Our primary depository account at Eastern Bank, we have been writing a 0.5% interest rate forever. Last year, we took in $8,500 in interest, brought that up to 3.25%, and we're estimating $60,000 in interest this coming year. Our other money market account at Unibank has had a 1% interest rate, and last year we took in $1,400, and this year we're estimating about $5,000. So that's what I have.
So you're kind of looking at the interest rates as the best way to be able to use it, to move it? Or do you change banks, or do you just change vehicles, where you do it or something for the interest?
Our treasurer got us a better interest rate at the
Okay,
same
the
banks
treasurer
we had
does.
used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at all of our accounts, and we were able to leverage actually closing out those 10 student activity accounts, all those funds to put into our primary depository. And I said, that's a very low interest rate. And they were happy to acknowledge that, yes, it was. And sure enough, it gave us 3.25. So.
Okay. And then the warrants?
Yeah. Should I just be rattling those off? Okay. Biweekly payroll, that's warrant 12. Weekly payroll, warrant 22, and accounts payable warrants 33, 34, 35, 36, 38, 39, and 40.
So there won't be any of the student activity accounts coming through anymore for signature?
There will be, because they're still at the middle and high school.
Okay, but like I had one for $30 yesterday and for Hubbardston.
Yeah, we're closing out those accounts, just the last ones until we get to, they're not physically closed out just yet because we need to wait for the statements to come in. So as soon as that is done, then they're completely done. We have to balance those and then they're closed.
And then that will come into the accounts payable warrants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions? Allison at this moment? Okay. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
And then does anybody else have any questions for any of the directors at this moment? I know everything's right here, but as the superintendent said, we have the information. And if there's any pressing question, I just have one. How was last month the showcase for Open Ed? I believe it was. And I believe it was it the Friday after our last school committee meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just curiously.
It went really well. We got quite a bit of feedback. I think we had about 12 districts attend and some members from DESE. They talked about how organized and well structured it was. They enjoyed the presentation from our Drew, VC, and Dr. Rob. They also appreciated having the opportunity to go through the classrooms and see Open Syed in action. So both at the middle high school and the elementary level, there was opportunities to ask questions. They met with the teachers afterwards. So they were really able to have those conversations about how things are going in the classroom, some of the positives that they saw in their students, and then even some of the struggles that they had as they began implementing a new curriculum. We have our next upcoming training with Dr. Rob at the end of January. And I know that some of the districts that were attending were inquiring about attending. So I don't have those numbers yet, but something that I'm hopeful that we'll be able to start that partnership with a lot of surrounding districts. And I will also say DESE also put it on their professional learning memo that went out across the state. So that is something that was also a really nice positive coming out of that too.
We're waiting for the picture to show up in the commissioner's memo because they kind of promised us it would, but we haven't seen it yet.
Good. And then one other question I have, Director of Student Services, and you have the integrated monitoring review scheduled in March. We just got alerted on that, or we kind of knew we were in the queue for that?
We knew we were in the queue for that. So this is our third year. So we're in the group B or group A cycle. So the third year is the onsite year. So we knew this was the third year, so we knew it was coming up. I didn't get the date though until recently. They're going to be here the week of March 3rd.
Okay. And then anything that you think they're focusing on, or they have their points anyway, that they're
They
going to
have their
cover?
points anyway. I mean, there's the link to what they're looking for. So it has all the list of all the different things. So this one is more special education heavy. So we
Okay.
have all of our policies, procedures, and all those sorts of things. The next cycle is in 3 more years from this year. And they're looking more at civil rights during that time frame. They did look at 3 civil rights pieces. We asked for them this past spring. They just gave us feedback on that. We have one minor little thing that we need to do. Otherwise everything is good in those areas.
So more it's about delivery, curriculum and delivery, probably?
It's curriculum delivery.
Compliance?
There's compliance, there's access to the different related services out of district.
Access, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Gotcha. Any other questions? Good. Yep. No, Dr. Hill.
Just a comment. When you look through the Director of Athletics report, there's a nice catalog of awards to our kids. Did watch MVP, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
And the field hockey zone is good. As long as we have that same coach. But I think that's a nice listing of kids who did well. And I think I didn't realize this community service project. Nice little statement in there from Duncan Steelage. For those of you who don't know Duncan, I first met him, he was a 26-year-old principal of Ocam High School. And he was a longtime Ocam Elementary School principal. He was a principal at Quabbin High School for a year, filling in when we needed some help and back there. And he and his wife had a nice little preschool that I think is still, I don't think they're operating, but it's still operating.
Ocam Country Day?
Yeah. His son, who went through the Harvard doctoral program, is superintendent up at
Ashburnham, Westminster.
Ashburnham, Westminster. So I didn't realize that they were doing a community service thing.
Yeah.
Gardner and Quabbin, but I think that's nice.
They do it every year. And
Well, I
they,
didn't know they
yeah,
did it.
they try and alternate locations. So they try and go to Gardner and do something there. The challenge they have with us at Quabbin is we actually have the day off before their big football game when they try and do it. So that's why the projects don't always like happen in the school or whatever. But yeah, it's really nice.
Wait.
Yeah, just to follow up on Nick's comments on the athletics. Colleen, did Danny Gaudreau, did she make it to the nationals?
I honestly do not
I
know.
thought I heard that she was invited to the nationals.
Really? You know what? Principal Rigney might know.
And what do you
But she can't tell.
And what year is she?
I'm not sure.
You might be muted, Abby, because of our incident we had last meeting. Maybe Andrew can unmute you.
Oh, she said, sorry. Not letting me unmute.
There we go. Hi.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, and the question was a little quiet. So I don't know. I would have to get confirmation that that student is going to nationals. I did not hear that, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. But I can try to find out.
I heard something about that. I was
Yeah.
just wondering.
Yeah, I'll dig around a little bit and see.
I think my recollection was as a sixth grader, she was invited to run in the middle school cross country. She was at.
Wow.
Yeah, and we did have and we had several students go to states this year, which was really exciting. This was the first year that our boys cross country team, I believe, qualified for the state meet as a team in upwards of almost 20 years, I think. So we've had a lot of great success this past fall. It was nice.
Great.
If you're around campus lately, you'll see them running in the middle of the winter. It's actually been really fun. Typically, we see them in the hallways this time of year, but they've been getting out. And I was laughing because the other day I was looking out my campus window and 3 girls went by and they had a good pace going. Of course, it's pretty cold out, so maybe they're eager to get back, but it's working for them.
Dr. Allen?
Yeah, also importantly, my understanding is we have a girls JV team.
We do.
You do?
For basketball.
I saw a whole passel of girls trying out. Not that they were any good, but they were all trying out.
You're gonna do great.
Good.
We're gonna have fun.
Again, thank you. Subcommittee reports, administrative review, central office.
Oh, that's me, sorry.
It's okay.
Skip right on. Colleen kind of wrapped up most of what our meetings have been. I think we had 2, maybe 1 was the last meeting.
2, I think we
Was
had
it?
2,
I
yeah.
think it was 2, but it was focused around the North Brookfield agreement and just to highlight, like Colleen had said, we did kind of express it first, maybe coming in at a much lower number because it was more than the school choice, but the rationale really makes sense and we're looking ultimately, hopefully, for a partnership. But what Colleen also brought to the table was that we are willing to be collaborative and work together. And it wasn't just us accepting the students. And even though I wasn't at the meeting, they just went to at the last meeting with the presentations, one thing that struck me from the Quabog side was they were presenting everything they had to offer and they'll welcome their students in. But Colleen really approached it like the Quabbin way. It's a partnership. We'll all
Caring,
Quabbin
educational
students and-
approach.
So she did offer, like we have the bus, so there will be 1 bus. So she had that and then the additional fees for special ed and stuff she talked about. But we have a lot of good special ed programs here in our district. So that would be a great opportunity for their kids to be able to access these programs that they don't have now, that they're paying out of district costs and able to keep now the kids together in their home school. So that was a big thing. And then, she mentions maybe, if we have job openings, we could talk about some type of partnership to maybe give them like first rate of refusal to postings or, if it fits so that they're still familiar staff when they come over here too. But she approached it from a much different perspective, I think. And she also kind of outlined what a tuition agreement would be. So we talked about that and they presented that at the meeting. So that's really all that I would add. On with the price, she did put a 3.2 increase for each year. And I'm sure that we are probably not the lowest, but I think they need to kind of decide what's the right fit for them and how to make this work for them. So.
Well, if they want good quality, this is
Yeah.
the best.
Lee?
Yeah, the bullets that you all got here, it just touches upon the presentation that the superintendent made, because she did a deep dive into stuff and, stuff that, we're not maybe throwing out there right now, but I think she knows more about North Brookfield than North Brookfield.
I know about that.
So, I mean, because it can benefit all of us, right? So,
Right.
I think that's all.
Audit, we're not ready yet, from the, audit perspective yet?
Not yet.
So we'll have to wait for that. Budget, Mark?
We didn't have a meeting, yes, we've been talking with, the schools about their budgets, so hopefully by, January, they've nailed down what some of their needs are, and we can have a meeting.
Okay. Collective bargaining?
Yeah, we had a brainstorming session, number of the administration, and just talking about what's going on now, what a thought process might be, where we might be headed. It was not a subcommittee meeting, it was just a brainstorming session. And I think we kind of want to have another one. I'll wait for you to figure out a date, because
We should probably schedule it right after the first of the year.
Okay.
Unless people want to have one next week, I'm here.
No, it's up to you. Your schedule is a lot thicker than ours.
I'll have Jess send you guys.
Okay.
And then with the three collective bargaining is up this year, which one are you starting first?
Looking at teachers first.
Teachers first.
Which we always do.
Okay. Good. Policy review and reform.
Okay. First thing is, there's just a couple of, I don't know, apple pie and so forth, from MASC, ECAB and KI. Access to buildings and grounds, visiting to the school, we review those. You've had them on the table for a month. I make a motion that you accept those two.
Second.
Second, okay. You want to do a vote now?
Yes.
Okay. Any further comment? Seeing and hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Unanimous.
Okay, then we had three that we're going to place on the table. Graduation requirements, competency determination, and Sunday weekend schedule programs. The first two are relatively perfunctory. It's what we do, it's what our requirements are. They're being modernized, they're being updated. I gave some history at our subcommittee meeting of where the graduation requirements came from and why, and some of the statistics on that. Probably of most interest to the committee members is the Sunday weekend schedule. Alicia's not here tonight, but she was very helpful in modifying what we have. And in essence, we're recommending going from one Sunday to 11 in the morning. It not be an expected everyday kind of thing. It needs upper management approval. It's to be only on occasion if there's been a day or two of snow days during the previous week, or tournaments coming up on Monday, but there's a special reason, okay, occasionally that can happen. So I move that we place IKF, IKFE, and KJF on the table for the next meeting.
Second. Okay. Seconded, good, okay. Any questions, comments?
Well, I guess questions, comment.
Yes.
For the determination for requirements, I think I'm looking at the language that says the final assessment of a course, which may include portfolio or capstone or passing grade. I guess I'm kind of understanding that statement here. Is that an either or any, I guess, clarification from that statement? So is it for a student would need to have a portfolio or a capstone, or they just simply need a passing grade and that will be fulfill the requirement?
That's a great question. So it is an or statement. So sometimes some of our students with disability or our English learners may create a portfolio or participate in a capstone versus a final assessment or have a passing grade. So sometimes a student may perform better to show their end of the year learning, not based on a traditional test. So this allows more opportunities for kids to earn their competency determination. Now, if a student does not earn a passing grade, they would still have to repeat that course. But competency determination is what's taking the place of MCAS. So it's just showing your ability or being able to show that you have competency at that 10th grade level in those different areas. This may happen for some of our students over time. It can happen anytime between 9th grade and 12th grade, which is helpful for our students who may need longer to get through that coursework for 10th grade and to become proficient at it. Now, what I will say, and I think I've talked about this a little bit, is this is what Quabbin is proposing. In the meantime, the Secretary of Education and the Graduation Council have come out with recommendations, and I will ask Jess to actually share those with you. He has a beautiful slide deck. They have a long-term, long-range plan. Quabbin is well-positioned to be able to implement that plan. We are already Mass Core aligned, meaning that our students take the 4 years of math, ELA, 3 years science, social studies. One thing we've changed in our graduation requirements here is that we move from global politics to world history because our teachers were finding our kids were just not getting enough history. And that civics project will now live in the history instead of global politics. So one aspect of it is going to be that what the Graduation Council is suggesting right now, it has to go through some more approval, but they're actually suggesting that students should never fail based on one assessment. So they are suggesting end of course assessments in those key areas and a portfolio or a capstone. The end of course assessments would be created, implemented, and scored by the state, but the portfolio and capstone, we would be given sort of like requirements, if you will, but we would develop them, implement them, and score them at the local level. So a student who maybe didn't do well on an end of course assessment because they don't test well would have the opportunity to do. They would also have, they don't just have the opportunity, they're required to do it. They would also have a portfolio or capstone to make that determination if they've gained their competency. So those are two critical pieces, along with they're talking about adding in some financial literacy for all students. And
We're including next year's course of study.
We
have it and we're.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll send that out to you. Again, there's more work to be done. They won't have final approval until the spring, and then it will be a multi-year process because to create those assessments, as you know, when we undertook MCAS, it's quite a bit of work and quite a bit of resources required. And for some schools, you know, one thing that superintendents are concerned about is that there are going to be waivers all over the place, because if you are a small rural school in Western Mass and you have a small population, you may struggle to be able to provide 3 years world language and all those other things, to A, find the teachers, and B, to have enough kids to participate in some of those things. So I think there'll be more to come, but we tried to align as closely as possible as to what's coming down the road.
Yeah, and these end of course, they're based on the Massachusetts core competencies. And the state's going to create those tests, it looks like. So it is looking kind of MCAS-y along the way.
I mean, I was gonna go there, and it seems like it's almost like we're removing one barrier, adding an additional barrier.
But there's alternatives. That's the biggest.
So I mean, I think, yeah, the alternative is great, but then it's actually a further extra resources requirement.
Yeah, well.
That is a big, big issue because scoring those is not, it's difficult and it's very expensive. But I will say that the requirements, the mass core requirement of 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 of history, 3 of social studies, we implemented that in 1980. Our district, we as a committee developed that policy. And that was the basis of the review and reform subcommittee, which I'm in the process of reporting on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic perfect storm issue, right? We have a huge challenge for funding. Meantime, we are also having multiple layers of complexity that actually gonna exacerbate the funding issues.
Oh, exacerbate is a wonderful word to describe that.
But okay, yeah, it's a concern obviously that we sometimes we don't have full control over, but it's like we're heading to this perfect storm issues here. Like there's multiple competing priorities at the same time. And,
Yeah,
but yeah,
and the governor seems to be in favor of this. There was a report, I guess, within the last month on this committee meeting with the governor in the process of trying to come up with these
That's that committee was.
graduation requirements. The teachers union is totally opposed. The business community is totally in favor. So that seems kind of be where we are.
And if you remember, the teachers union was pushing portfolios and alternative assessments along the way.
Yeah.
The idea is now it's like being pushed. Is it going to be the state, like you said, and Cassie? Is it, state approval?
Okay.
So it's to be determined still, but at least you get an update policy that we're positioned well of dealing with our graduation requirements.
That's correct.
With our.
That's where we are. Okay, and the last item is the course catalog.
Before we do the course catalog, do we have to vote?
Yes.
We have to vote on.
You didn't
Yeah,
vote.
I'm sorry. I did make a motion.
You made a motion, it was seconded, you just didn't vote.
Yes.
Are there any other questions on these three policies? All in favor? Aye.
Yep.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous.
Okay, course catalog. It seems to be right, rational, makes good sense. Some of them, many of them are just changes in title. And actually, in some of them, like Gothic and some wonderful Edgar Allan Poe, and it's now horror. Mythology and folk. It's now lyrics as literature. Some of the courses that have been dropped because of the psychology, all the psychology's gone. We lost our psychology teacher retirement.
We still have psychology, just not IB psychology.
We don't have IB psychology.
Yes.
So anyway, the changes are in here. We reviewed them. They seem to be sensible.
Anyway, I forced just some good ones that we'd like to take.
Yeah. So, I move acceptance of the updated course catalog change requests.
And seconded by Lee. Okay. Any questions, comments? Sure. Not a problem.
So ultimately, I guess, Dr. Allen, is this a request to update from the original to that no names moving forward? These are going to be the official names moving forward,
Yes.
right? Okay. And it seems like obviously we have the rationale behind them. So I mean, I read them. I think it seems to me also it's a good move, right? Because you have the ability now to actually attract a different group of students. Be like, oh, okay, now I'm more interested because I didn't know what that word mean. Now they know, right? But I think back to the human studies and cultural identity, moving it to the new title, it further narrow it down. I think it was broad, which would attract. Now I feel like it's actually being narrowed down. I was kind of wondering what is the
I think the idea was that students didn't necessarily understand exactly what the content was going to be.
When you say cultural identity,
Yes.
So it's purposefully narrowed down so that students would be able to ID, okay, I really want to do this, or, oh, now I understand, it's
I
not
think-
something I want to be part of.
Wasn't that the one Mr. Gilmartin talked about?
Yeah,
Some students didn't realize what it was and
when they got in.
when they got in, and some had wished they knew what it was and could have gotten it.
Yep.
Exactly. So the wrong, I won't say the wrong, not necessarily the students that wish that course always got to take them.
got it.
Any other questions? Being hearing none, is a motion to approve the 26-27 course catalog changes, requests. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And abstentions, unanimous. Thank you, policy. Yes.
I just want to add, because I know we're always thinking about class sizes, so I want to add, as the high school team went through this with their academic coordinators, there was a lot of thought put into this, and they were decreasing course offerings when they were adding courses so that we're not increasing the number of courses and further splitting our students. We're trying to actually put some of the other course offerings into other courses. So like graphic design and website design, you'll see those are decreased and placed into other courses. So I know that's heavily on my mind, so I want to make sure you know that was part of the process.
No more efficient resources.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Unfinished business, Quabbin Regional, regional agreement. A vote may be required.
I am happy to have the state vote make required on this. I have to admit, doing this twice now, one as a non-school committee member and that was a school committee member. I think it was a great experience. It was efficient. It was collaborative. I think we agreed on everything pretty quickly and easily, and were able to talk through everything. There were really no significant changes, but the changes that were made kind of cleaned everything up and made it a little more concise. It's been reviewed by the attorney, preliminary approval by DESI. And we had one final meeting. It was like the quickest meeting ever on record. But Walter brought up he caught one good point right at the end. We had a paragraph that said all eligible pre-K students. And there was some concern over that because we have a lottery system in place. So we reworked that language and everybody agreed fairly quickly. And we have had it out for your review as the final draft. So with that said, I would like to make a motion that the Quabbin Regional School District School Committee approve the submittal of the Quabbin Regional School District Regional Agreement bearing the caption "Final Draft Submitted to the Member Towns December 2025 for approval to the Board of Selectmen of each member town for acceptance by their town meeting."
Second.
Second by Dave. Questions, comments? Dave. Not Dave. Walter, sorry.
I didn't know if you were talking to somebody else. I thought I saw something where Desi wanted to make some kind of a checklist and add it to the regional agreement. Maybe it's my imagination. Okay.
It might have been feedback at one point, but I think we've done everything they wanted us to do. Oh, they'll let us
Hurry
know
up,
if they
let's get
do.
this one.
Yeah. They'll let us
All right,
know.
never mind.
I just want to say, again, thank you to Walter, Deb, Dave Deschamps, Crystal, and Peg. As school committee members, to be able to take this on over the past year, to work it through. And then we also had, as the working committee, you had members from the town, from each one. They were there as well. Some attended pretty regularly, others didn't. I think one time, I like to come and just sit in the back and listen, just to be an extra ear, just to hear and see. But I just want to tell you that your colleagues here that represented us to put together this agreement, just updating the agreement. This is the third time, right? The third time. You had the original in 84, 85.
I remember it well.
And, you know, back then you had the changes too, when you had New Braintree. Around that time, same time, New Braintree came in because they were, you know, tuitioning to North Brookfield and Quabbin, and that happened. And then the 14 one, we had to update it with the ed reform law perspectives. And then the update, I just want to echo to say thank you. I know when we say people, you know, ask part of committees or someone else asks some to do that, I just honestly no baloney. Thank you for your time, your effort, your expertise, your time, your talents, your questioning. It makes sense. And I truly believe that you've spent the time now.
There was a lot of town and community members, as you know, it was appreciated.
And how would, what would the process be from this point once we vote?
Now, once we vote tonight to approve, Jess will send them all to the select board, and the next town meeting, which essentially would be the annual town meeting, it will need to go into each town and be approved by all 5 towns.
Are they gonna,
Then it goes back to the commissioner.
yeah?
Then it goes actually back to
Yeah.
the commissioner. So Desi has given us preliminary approval, but commissioner has final say. So in the meantime, the current regional agreement it sort of stays put. It stays in place until that comes back.
Then, are you running information sessions? Are you doing, is there a perspective or you're thinking?
I'm going to
of-
start by meeting with the select boards and seeing what they, you know, want to do. I think it depends when they want to have their meetings. If they're going to do it at their annual town meeting or they want to do it sooner. But we would allow some focus groups. I heard they're really well attended.
Let's vote.
Town meetings?
No, when they've done the regional agreement meetings for
Yeah.
public, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need a roll call vote on the regional
Okay, I
agreement.
would like that. That'd be a good idea. Any other further questions, comments?
Just a quick clarification, just to make
Absolutely,
sure
no,
that I see
please,
in the final
please.
version, there's a highlighted version in section 9. I wanted to make sure that nothing was missing in there, or there was a reason it was,
I just forgot to take the highlighting out.
okay, it was, make sure it was a place.
That was the last section we did.
Yeah.
So barring, then so we'll agree and then it will be highlighted off.
The final copy that we're sending to the towns, it's been taken off. I had just already printed them. I didn't want to kill any more
There's
trees.
one more that says, with the additional language that I read in the motion, that's.
Right, right. I mean, I think I know what, yeah,
exactly
yeah, I just want to make sure it's,
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Dr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
yeah.
Mr. Deschamps,
Yes.
Mr. Willannon,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. That will then go its process on that. And I had one question. Let's see. I think we're gonna, let's vote. That's everything. And then we'll just wait from the towns to do their perspective. And then from there, the lease was part B. Update the leases. And what we thought we'd do with the central office for that, but also make sure that we have representation of all 5 towns as well to work that through. That the superintendent can then work through the town to get leases updated as well. Right? Let me translate.
Oh, eminent sense.
Public comment.
Nobody from the public on.
Okay, school committee concerns. Dr. Allen, or comments?
Yeah, just sort of an out of left field thing. I think we talked about Roxy and the kids and so forth. I have a fellow from Hamburg, Germany visiting me. Graduate of Quabbin. His son came here because he come on a family visit. He went through Roxy and he's now a policeman in Hamburg, Germany. just got a promotion. He's on a special detail. There that goes in with his travel area and all. So our ROTC program not only is helping our kids in this country, but elsewhere, which I find kind of interesting. I've had a couple of kids go through ROTC. They were both Germans, as a matter of fact. I don't know whether there's an affinity there, but.
Nice. They know a good program when they see
Very
it.
nice.
There you go.
Good. Anyone else at this moment? Okay, new business. There's a vote to approve school committee stipends. Superintendent, business manager, you want to tell us a little bit
So,
about this perspective?
So we are supposed to make school committee stipends public in some way, shape, or form. So one choice is to put them in the regional agreement. Another choice is to handle them at town meeting. So we thought this would be a good way to sort of vote them publicly now, and then they will show up in the annual report, and we don't have to talk about them on town floor. So you may be wondering why this is new and we've never done it before. Apparently, we did do it before a long time ago. And maybe the thought was that you do it once, you don't have to do it anymore, but that's not actually the case. So it's just a little bit of a cleanup type of thing, just to be transparent.
Is this a legal opinion?
This is from Mass General Law, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
But our legal counsel told us that we need to do this way.
Well, it's in Mass General Law.
No,
No?
it should have been flagged by our auditor. If we're making these payments, that they should be asking for minutes or recordings through committee.
It's voted at town meeting within our budget.
It's not delineated in the
Your
budget.
stipends are not.
They've been called out on town floor. We have had to speak to them in our town previously.
So maybe that's where the disconnect is. So maybe they're supposed to be in the town report and they haven't been the past few years. So you could be 100% correct, Deb.
I'm really honestly, it's not about it's about the principle and the way that this has come, I think, to pass. We always received our stipends in November, October sometimes, and some people donate them. That's great when they do. Others do not. Many people, many of us here do this because we care about this district. It's not the stipend. So I want to make it very clear. It's not about the money issue. And it certainly is about the transparency and the collaboration and the communication. And it really failed. I'm really disappointed. I am. To just not receive it, not be told why, and have to ask, and be told it's against the law to pay stipends. And then they'll be sent out. And now there's this new motion with no legal opinion on it. We had a school district with our business manager for over 20 years, who not only had clean audits, but never had even a management letter in many years. Why now today do we have all these issues that we're not being told ahead of time, that aren't being a collaborative process? I'm all about being open to the public, and that's what I love about this district. And I'll tell you, this really, really disappointed me with the way this has been handled.
I'm sorry
very
you feel that way.
disappointed. I am.
I'm sorry you
And
feel that way.
I did not want to do this way, but I've been struggling with whether to run or not. And I have now decided that I am not running for sure again next year. And the reason I was at peace not to run was because I was really pleased with the direction. And I felt Hubbardston has now strong members. We've struggled with that. I really was really at peace with leaving on a really good note. And this was a really disappointing thing to happen over a very small technical issue. If this is the way it needs to be handled, so be it. But the way that it was disclosed to us and handled, I'm really upset with that.
Wait,
I want to addend the language now. Do you want to make a motion and have a second, and then I will propose an addendum, or you want me to addend it now so we would vote on maybe the addendum language?
Let's have the addendum.
let's do the addendum.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't read that at this moment. It said vote to approve school committee stipends is what I said. So
right.
how would you like to
Okay, so first of all, slash what's there.
slash what's there?
Yeah. And so I would do it as such, and I'd preface it by saying this vote is to clarify a previously budgeted items. And it would be motion to approve yearly stipends in the amount of $7,500 to be split equally amongst the 15 school committee members, with the chair receiving an additional $100 for a total of $7,600.
Second.
As read, stated in red. Any further questions, comments,
And
concerns?
I'm pointing out, it's a clarification.
Yes.
As Deb said, this has already been voted.
I'm fine
It's
with
voted.
it.
It's been voted in.
That's what we're
So,
about.
and so it's like, if it's something that we need to clarify to whatever degree, I don't want to say I want to minimally clarify it, but essentially that's what I'm doing. Just put in what we need to do if we need to do it, and that's it. We don't need all this other stuff.
Can you read it again, please?
Once again, the vote, preface vote is to clarify previously budgeted items. And the motion is motion to approve yearly stipends in the amount of $7,500 to be split equally amongst the 15 school committee members, with the chair receiving an additional $100 for a total of $7,600.
Any other further questions? I do.
Yes, not a problem.
Completely left field for me. So I guess historical context.
I can give, no problem. I'm gonna go to Dr. Allen on that.
Oh, yeah. He's a
If
historian.
anybody else wants to make a comment, no problem.
I'll tell you
Anybody
what
else?
they died.
Yeah, 1986. When we reorganized, at that time, the regional was just 7 to 12. And each of our towns had its own, we were region number 2. We're now region number 63. But each of the towns had its own little school committee. I was the last chairman of Barry School Committee. And when we took in New Braintree, we also regionalized K to 12. And at that time, some of the committees were receiving this $500 stipend, same amount, and some were not. Barry was not. And the towns that were receiving it wished to continue. So those of us in towns that were not receiving it agreed, and so then all 5 towns took the 500. Now, as Deb said, I don't accept it because I originally ran without it, and I just donated to scholarships. But, you know, it's a cost to come here, transportation and that sort of thing. So it seemed reasonable that a small amount of reimbursement be provided. So that's why at that point, all 5 towns, those who had been doing it and those who not, agreed to this. That's the historical context.
Because it was in place back before Cheryl, even with Don Raffia. All of this, the stipends.
Yes, you're right.
Town officials and other boards and also receive stipends. We're not, and we've never asked for an increase in some of our members that are rated.
No, because this goes for $500,
Right.
mid-80s.
But I mean,
I know.
we
I
volunteer
did.
our time, our gas.
Well,
our
not
wear
all
and tear,
towns.
time for-
Not all town officials.
Not all.
Right, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm perfectly fine with disclosing it. That's what we pride ourselves in our transparency. And I just don't feel that it was handled at all the Quabbin way. And I'm just really disappointed.
So in essence, and there's no disparity between towns. All towns receive the stipend. The issue is it's a disclosure problem.
It's voted within our budget. So the issue is that it wasn't disclosed properly, clearly in our budget.
But the town's voted.
The
for it.
town has already approved. It is already approved.
Then why it's here?
I don't know.
Because it was brought
That's
up.
the
It was
question.
brought up because it was not clear from,
It
you
was
said a
just
regulation.
withheld. We normally,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know this because you're newer,
Right, right.
but we normally would have received it by November.
I feel like that's a town problem.
No, because they vote our budget, so it's the district's budget, but the town
Well,
has to.
in terms of actually communicating it,
No,
no?
because we're a region,
I
we
see.
have to disclose it, and we do, and
They
we're
were-
very.
we're an entity of ourselves as a district.
What do you mean when
So
you say
Cheryl
that?
got all these rave reviews on all of her audits.
And never a suggestion.
And
No, I
Never an
think, I
issue.
think the problem is, and I think you hit it on the head, Deb, is probably, so like all of the salaries of all of our employees are in that annual report.
Mhm.
And I think probably what we have to do is put this in the annual report, and that's probably why you were questioned on it before on town floor, because it was in the annual report, because
No,
that's
we
the
were
night you get it.
questioned because the line was so high and it also had, but whatever school committee, it was all lumped in one line. The whole
Oh,
school
I
committee
see.
Line.
Okay.
Covering the conference and our fees and.
I got
So
everything.
it made it appear as though we were getting very
Got it.
high stipend amounts.
Got it.
So that's why they have to put it out that each person in New Braintree, we don't do it for Peggy either, but for the select board members, they put select board member one, whatever, select board number two, assessor number one, assessor number two.
What do the select board members get?
I think it's like $500. I'm not sure. But it's listed out per person, whereas like you're saying, the lump sum wasn't, but if it were listed out, they wouldn't have
But
questioned
the
it.
overall budget, so my concern is, are we withholding payments to other things as well?
Not that,
Is there anything else being withheld because they're not budget clear or doing things?
No, this just needed to have a backup of minutes or recording, or it needed to be in the regional agreement. If it's in the regional agreement, it never needs to be discussed again, since that's closed. I mean, that was kind of going on while the regional agreement was in process, so it was discussed to toss it in there, and that was note. So then it needs to just have minutes and a recording annually, and that's the end of the conversation for it. And that satisfies audit requirement. Should the auditor change in the future, I mean, it's gonna get brought up. It should get brought up.
But I like Lee's amendment. Can we vote on that?
that's what we're voting on. That's what we stated and seconded it. And that's what's on the item right now. Any other further discussion?
But that's not an amendment, correct? Because we didn't
No.
make a motion,
No,
so that's
the
just the
motion.
motion.
Yeah.
Strike it. I just want to be sure.
We struck, we said that,
Right.
and the item was to vote to approve school committee stipends.
Yeah.
And it was out, and it was a clarification, and a new motion was put in.
Made a preemptive strike.
We don't have to vote to strike down the
Right,
motion is what
right,
I'm saying.
correct.
We just have to.
Because I
vote.
never brought it out as
Correct.
such.
It was never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just
So,
wanted to be clear.
okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous.
Does this need to be roll call?
Do you want roll call?
It needs to be roll
Do
call.
you want roll call since it's money?
I think we should.
I say, yeah, I agree. We should money. Roll call
I feel safer when I do roll call for things like that.
as a clarification.
Dr. Allen?
Yeah.
Mr. Marsh?
Yeah.
Mr. Deschamps?
Yes.
Mr. Willannon?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Garvey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Montfort?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Lee. Yeah, no, adjourned. You said.